thinking about the future and like what's gonna like your future job and all that stuff when you're 21, there's a lot of pressure because it feels like you have to decide the course of the rest of your life, right, with one decision. That might not necessarily be the case anymore, but it certainly feels like that. So what are you thinking about? What are your main choices?
I had a chance to talk about designer and interior designer. The people designed the teaser.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Last week, I talked with him. When I heard about his story, how did he become that interior designer? It's a hard story he had.
So but what happened with him? How did he become a designer?
He first step he worked at the Nitori, and second step, but he want to be a interior designer in his heart, but he worked at Nitori, and 3 years later he go to the special school. How can I say?
Well, he went to a design school.
Design school, yes. And he after that he worked at the 設計事務所. 設計事務所. How can I say?
設計?
設計. Right. 設計, how can I say?
Hold on, I'm looking this up right now. I think, I suspect it's architecture.
Yeah.
It's architecture.
Inside architecture. Design.
Architecture office.
Yes.
Okay.
And 10 years later, he worked at himself and designed the teaser. Yes.
I see. That's really tough. I think the thing too is that he took him a really long time to get where he wanted to go, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm not gonna say it's wasted time, but it did really take a long time for him to do that. So what are you thinking about doing? What is your like? What do you find interesting?
Actually, I wanna be like him, but I feel like some risk. Yeah, so I don't know correct route in my life.
I'll tell you this, and this is what I think is kind of one thing that is always good to keep in mind. When I was your age, when I was 21, or like not even that, when I was 18, I thought that everybody older than me, everybody had it figured out. They knew what they were doing. Now, as a 35-year-old, I understand that nobody has it figured out. Nobody knows the answer. And the people who do know took risks to find out. You know?
Can I ask something?
Sure.
Why did you select this work?
It was a risk. I took a risk. So.
What kind of risk?
I was originally working as a teacher at an international school. And there was some circumstances in the environment where I worked at. It wasn't very healthy. It wasn't very good. So when it was time to renew my contract, I was a contract employee. The contract that they offered me was not acceptable. I did not like it. And I talked to my wife, and I talked to my family, and I said, well, I can take this job, the contract. I can take the contract. But it's going to be really difficult to continue to work there. Because it was a difficult contract. I'd have to move around a lot. I wasn't going to get the raise I was promised. Or I can look for something else. So I started looking. I didn't accept the offer, but I started looking. And it was around February. At the end of February, my boss at the time was like, you need to tell me, you need to decide if I can take it or not. Because I need to start looking.
You are school
the
president.
Yeah. So I said, okay, see you.
Why?
The pressure to continue there
Continue to decide.
was too much because I felt like I wasn't treated fairly. I felt like I wasn't appreciated because the parents really liked me, the students really liked me. It's just this guy who was like, no, I'm going to stay somewhere else. So I didn't have a job. Right? And I had 1 month to find something because my contract ended at the end of March. What do I do?
How many years ago this story?
When I first started here. So that February in 2019.
Oh.
I know, right? So I was like, oh no, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I started looking for work.
This is not your only job?
No. I was working as an international school teacher first when I came to Japan. And then I didn't have the job. I was working, but I had a month left. So in that month, I started just looking for work, just applying everywhere. And I applied to not this school, not NUCB, but the graduate school to do Kokusai Koryu. And the lady there said, your qualifications for this place are great, but you would fit better in Nishi. So she sent my application, all my stuff to Kokusai Gakubu Gakucho, to TAC. And he's like, yeah, let's have an interview. So if I would have said yes to my previous job, I would still be working as a teacher. Because I took the chance and I risked and I said, you know what, I will look for something better. I found this job. Again, not many people can take that risk. I was very lucky because my family backed me up on that risk, and they said, you know what, you can find something better. But it is a matter of not only taking that risk, but having something to fall back on at the end, right? So like you said, you want to do design.
Yeah.
Right? Are you studying design now?
No, but he said that he didn't study design at university, and so I think I'm in the same position,
right?
Like him. So I have to go to the design school.
Right. But what I will say too is like the biggest mistake a lot of students make is they find what they like in the middle of going to school and they quit university to do that, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I respect that. But you gotta finish what you start. So if you start university, no matter how much you dislike it, you gotta finish it. Because that shows that the type of person that you are. If you're gonna stick with something till the end, or are you gonna quit halfway through to go to something else? It's a hard decision.
Yeah.
Also, the other option you have is to do, while you're in university, while you're doing this, you start dabbing in design. You start like doing some stuff with design, either YouTube or like some kind of online program where you can start doing that while you're still here. Yeah, it's hard though.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
If you had a chance to, like, if you're going out to look for work, which kind of company would you like to work for?
I think I want to be work myself. I mean, I don't like hire me. So it's not kind of I want to be. It's not president.
You just want to work on your own.
Yeah.
I see. I mean, that makes sense. A lot of the students I speak with here, they all like, a lot of them tell me the same thing. Like, I want to work for such and such company. Right? Very few students are like, no, I want to work on my own. I want to be my own boss. That's like really, really respectable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of risk.
Yes.
A lot of risk. But a lot of good stuff could come from that risk too. So are you willing to take that risk? Another thing too, like you said, the guy the designer from Teaser made a really good point. He worked and saved money for some considerable time before he did his design, before he started on his own. Did he tell you how much he saved?
To rock himself.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he worked the 設計事務所 at 10万円 monthly payment.
Monthly salary.
Yeah. That's yeah. For 10 years.
Ooh, that's so low. Given your English skill, it might be a good idea to work using English somehow, right? So you come all this way learning English, and there's many different ways where you can do that, even if it's just for a short time while you build your career and your knowledge of how a business works, and then you can start your own business. It's hard though.
Yeah.
Especially, like, when you consider how big that decision is, right? Like, what do you want? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? 10 years from now, where do you see your life?
I don't know.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
All right, let's back up a bit. Let's make the timeline a little bit shorter. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. I don't know, but I wanna go abroad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's come true. My dream come true.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. When I first started studying Japanese, back in, when did I start? 2009.
2009.
No. Yeah, 2009. I started in 2009. I thought I want to go to Japan, visit Japan. That was my dream. I was going to visit Japan. It's 12 years.
12 years ago. Yeah.
And I live here, so it's really difficult to see how how to predict how life is going to go, right?
Where did you met your wife?
I met her in America.
America.
Yeah.
So she said you come to Japan.
Well, originally my plan was always to come here. When I was in university, my original plan was to go to graduate school in Japan. So I was studying Japanese language, linguistics, literature. And then the next step was to come here to either Hitotsubashi, Tokyo Daigaku, or Nihonbashi, and to study Japanese film. And then get my master's degree in Japanese film in Japanese, and then go back to the United States, get my PhD in Japanese history. That was the goal. I met my wife my third year of university, and we dated for a year. When we decided to get married, I talked to her dad, my father-in-law.
Yeah.
And then he said no.
Why?
No graduate school. Because the image of graduate school, especially for an older man like him, is graduate school you go to play. You're not a shakaiji. You're not a member of society. You're a student. So you can't do like shakaijin stuff. You gotta study. But if you want to get married, you gotta work. Okay. So my plans changed. Whether or not they changed for the better, I don't know.
Yes.
Things are definitely different from what I was expecting. And I think that's a kind of a main thing. Like, you can make your plans as much as you can, but things will be different. Let me ask you another question, kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
What was your plan when you were in high school? Where did you want to go?
When I was high school student.
Yeah.
When I was high school student, I was everyday practice soccer to how can I say
Compete.
The 選手権 how can I say 全国大会
You want to compete in the national tournament.
Yeah. Because of I decided to play soccer at my high school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this high school can can grow up myself. So I decided to go to my high school.
Did you ever make it to the national tournament?
No.
But you did get better at soccer, right?
Soccer.
You did get better at soccer, right?
Yeah.
Would you ever consider joining the NUCB soccer team? Did you try?
No. I want to change my focus things.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. But I still love soccer.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
soccer's dope. No, it's funny because like when I was in high school, my focus was so different.
Different.
I really loved history, so I wanted to become a history teacher. But then I was such a terrible student in high school. I was so lazy, and I don't think I would have done well if I went from high school to university. So I quit. I went to work. I think that was a big difference with me and my other classmates.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to see where you go. It's scary. Future is scary.
Yeah.
And it's scary for everyone. But it's also really exciting because a lot of new stuff will happen for sure. So, good luck.
Thank you.
No problem. So, once you stop, I'm gonna